Hello, and thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the She Means Business podcast, where we bring together badass women business owners, industry leaders, and other aspiring women to celebrate their success and empower you. I am your host, Ashley Mastowski. I'm a business owner, wife, and mom of twin toddlers. Ambitious is my middle name. Join our email list and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. You'll find inspiring content, updates, and the chance to connect with like-minded individuals. Remember to leave a review and share how we've inspired you. Now, let's get to business. Welcome back to the She Means Business podcast. I am your host, Ashley Mastowski. We have been having some amazing conversations with some of the most kick-ass women on this podcast, and I have got another one today that is a phenomenal lash artist. So she is my personal lash artist, but she isn't like a lot of lash artists in town. When I learned her story and how she's building her business, I gained so much more respect for her. And she doesn't own, it's not just her. What I loved learning about her was she owns an actual studio and she has artists working for her. And like my biggest thing, I'm a big like brand and marketing nut. And when I saw her marketing and her logo and her design, I was like, oh yeah, she's my girl. I gotta know this girl. So honestly, that's what caught my attention. But you know, her skills pretty darn good. So, you know, she at least has that to back it up. But over the past several months, we've also learned that we've had a lot of things in common, a lot of interests in common. So I knew she had to be on the podcast. So without further ado, please welcome Jasmine, the owner of ModLash Studio here in Las Vegas. Hi, Jasmine.
Hi. Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I just want to say thank you so much for having me. I think this is awesome. I love seeing women in business and empowerment and doing something in the world. So I love that you have that platform. So thank you.
Of course. Well, and you're the perfect fit because it's like, you know, most people, I'm like, they probably want their hour when they go do their lashes and they get their fills and everything. It's an hour of, you know, nap time. But I feel like everything that's going on, we always just have something to say. So I think maybe one or two times I've actually slept, and I know, but we just like chit chat. And I'm like, especially now we have a little bit more in common, which we'll get to that down the road. And that, you know, is a million things we can talk about. But I've always really enjoyed it. I'm like, it's, you know, I can't see my phone. I get to put it away and we get to just chit chat and good things, bad things, all the things.
Yes.
It's kind of fun.
Yes.
So it's a nice little break.
Yes. Everybody loves that hour.
I know, right? So I mean, the stories you could probably tell are
yeah, I know.
She knows all. She is the secret keeper to the universe here. But I mean, I want our listeners to hear your story. And how did you decide, you know, business ownership is not for the faint of heart. And I have a feeling you knew that, or if you didn't, you'd know now. But how did you decide and come about? How did you decide to do what you're doing and open ModLash Studio? So I want to hear your story.
Oh my gosh, where do I even start? I always wanted to own a business. I always wanted to be a business owner. I thought it was going to be real estate at first, but that didn't work out. So I started actually as an insurance agent for State Farm when I first moved out to Vegas. So I was in sales for about 6 years and it was very repetitive. I didn't really see myself going anywhere. I saw my boss like making lots of money and I was just selling insurance.
Not all bosses make a lot of money yet, right? I'm just saying.
Well, he was doing well for a little while, so it was kind of motivating for me.
We're getting there. Goals.
It was motivating for me. So I'm like, okay, you know, maybe I need to take this leap. And I actually moved away for a year to Europe with my boyfriend because he was a professional basketball player. And it kind of gave me time to think like what I wanted to do. I was always like interested in beauty, but I wasn't really sure like how to get involved. So once we came back to the States, I took a class. I paid $1,000 and took this class in Atlanta. And from there, I thought I was going to be just boss lady. didn't really work out that way.
Gotta have the attitude to get started. I just gotta say that.
I know. So it was a rough start, but I did start in Atlanta doing eyelash extensions. Luckily I had my insurance license, so that kind of took me everywhere. I always had a job. So, and then I relocated to Vegas. I had to start all over again with clientele. I worked for a lash company. Learned a lot from her, learned a lot what not to do from her.
Isn't that always the case?
Yes, I gained clientele. I think it's good to start with a company for sure, because you can learn the business, you can gain clientele, you can figure it out without having all the responsibility and overhead. So that was good. But she ended up closing down.
I think sometimes you're 100% correct, but I think sometimes too, people realize, you know, you have these wild aspirations of being a business owner.
Yeah.
But don't realize all the hard work. You see the end result and
Yes.
your old boss making a ton of money, but like, so now you actually see it. Now you can, like, sometimes that experience will even say, hey, like, maybe this isn't for me and I'm just going to be a really awesome employee, and there's nothing wrong with that, right?
Right.
But clearly your mind frame was like, no.
Yeah.
I can do this better.
I'm like, yeah, I can see what she's doing, but I feel like I can do it better. But yeah, people don't really understand. It's a lot. It's not just I can do it better. I mean, I learned like very quickly, like, whoa, she was doing a lot, behind the scenes that I had no idea. And I feel like a lot of people nowadays, they see like on social media, and people, they see the good and they don't see like the hard work, the hustle, the tears, the blood, the sweat, the no sleep.
Many tears.
Yeah. No sleep, working off nothing. Like it's, yeah. So there's pros and cons, but it did push me to, she ended up closing her salon down. So I had no choice. I opened up a salon suite. So I was working out of a salon suite. I was that lash artist for a while. Then I had two going. And
just side note, there's nothing wrong with that, by the way.
All.
This is not if you want to do that, that's great.
Sometimes I wish I could go back to my salon suite. Honestly, sometimes it's way less. I mean, there's still responsibility. You are on your own, but you don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, license, like just so much. So yeah, I did the salon suite for about 4 years. I ended up renting chairs out to artists that wanted to start their business. I ended up mentoring artists and then doing classes and teaching out of the salon suite. I had two going for a while, and I realized like I'm paying a lot of money for 2 salon suites. I could probably get a salon, So I had a really good client. She was a commercial agent. She helped me throughout the whole process, and we searched for a salon. That was an adventure in itself. We got a lot of no's. People don't want to take the leap on lash artists, so they're like, we know nail artists, but lash artists, So we ended up finding a spot in Las Vegas, actually. So I have a salon now, ModLash Studio. I have 8 chairs, and I have a suite in the back for rent as well. And that is where I am now. Awesome. So, yeah.
That is so cool. And let's just say it happens to be, this was just a coincidence, which is another, for me, God moment, like, hey, this is the right place, but it's like a mile from my office.
I know.
Which is so convenient.
I know. I love that. Yeah, we're kind of central, which is good. Right next to the freeway, so I like that. I have clients all over Vegas, so it works. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
you can get the Henderson area, you can get the Las Vegas area, and it's so easy because we're right near the airport, so there's freeway access everywhere. So totally understand that. And that was smart because you probably were like, okay, I need to be in a good location, but you also were limited, so nobody, the people that where you probably really wanted to be, they wouldn't accept you. So you're like, okay, but it ends up being right. Good.
Exactly. Yeah, it ended up being totally good. Good parking and everything. So yeah, I mean, where I wanted to be, I didn't have the funds to be, but it's fine.
But this is still a good location, it's still central. So it was the best of both worlds to help, not charge you an arm and a leg. Because for those of you listening, if you don't live or haven't been to Vegas, commercial, I mean, residential too, but commercial rent, even to purchase, is so expensive.
Yeah,
so
it's expensive.
To find a commercial space is in a retail location that's easy to come and go is so expensive. It's still probably cheaper than your salon suites, but you're seeing there's a lot of other responsibilities, that you have to maintain and upkeep and all the fun stuff.
Insurance.
Glamorize the hard stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I know. Glamorize the hard stuff for sure. I kind of wish I would have filmed my journey a little bit on even opening the salon and because just even remodeling and trusting contractors and being screwed over because I didn't know what the heck I was doing, and it was a lot. It was a lot to get to this point. And people walk in my salon, they're like, "Oh my gosh, it's so cute," and I'm like, "Really? I see all these things I need to be done." I just can't get to them yet. But I mean, I'm glad it looks good enough to operate, right?
So was that your aesthetic? Like, how did that come about? Like, your brand. Like, how did you come up with the name, the design? I mean, it is literally you guys can all see this on the images, and we'll have her website up too. But her website is amazing. I'm so impressed. To me, just because I'm a marketing and branding freak, I'm the one that'll buy the really cute champagne that probably tastes disgusting, but it has the cutest label. So
it's sparkly.
I'm a second. Exactly. Anything sparkly, I'm all. So I was so impressed because I have been, everything is online now. That's how I check your reputation, really. So I was really impressed with your website, really impressed with your logo and your design aesthetics there. And even it's so professional in your studio. Is that just you and how your brain works, or did you have somebody to help? Because not everybody does what you do, and that's what sets you apart.
Yeah, I've always been a simple contemporary type person, and I don't know why, because my mom was more on the hippie side, and she was so colorful, and we always had clutter in our house.
Maybe that's why.
And it drove me nuts. I remember growing up when my friends come over, I'm hiding her clutter because I was so embarrassed, taking stuff off the wall. This is embarrassing. So I've always been the weird one where I'm just black and white, straight cornered, contemporary, So I guess it's more of my style and me. And I wanted a name and logo that was simple, something simple, something that can be branded. So ModLash for me stands for just modern beauty, innovative products, and we're just ahead of everything, and we stay on trend, and that's pretty much what it stands for me. As far as the aesthetic in the salon, me as well. When we first opened, the whole place was dirt and brown, and it smelled really bad. So I just went in there and I'm okay, what can I do? I want a reception area. I wanted rooms for the artists, but that didn't work out. So we just have kind of stalls right now, walls up. So
I think it works perfect.
Yeah.
Look, your clients are laying down with their eyes closed.
Right, right.
You don't necessarily need the doors.
I know. And exactly. People love it, so
yeah.
It works for now. Yeah. I mean, when I open a second salon, then we'll look at doors. Right now, this works for sure. Totally fine. And
you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
You got to start affordable. So you make it work, and then you evolve as your business grows.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So that's awesome. Totally me. Yeah, pretty much.
It's phenomenal. And I think that's what helps. I think in today's, and you could probably, I can say this for my industry too. There's tons of insurance agents in town, right?
Yeah.
There's tons of agents that are captive. There's tons of independent agents. There's independent brokers. Then you see them everywhere. And sometimes I feel like it's a little bit flooded, but I probably see it more so than anywhere else. But then we have the online stuff. With you, I think we're very parallel in that. I feel like everybody's becoming a lash artist, or there's tons of lash artists, but
so saturated.
There's high turnover.
Yeah,
exactly. But then because they don't realize the amount of time and what it takes to get a client, which is the same as me and you. We have to do that. So at least you experience this on the insurance side too. But you have to get your clients. Then they realize, the artists realize they're either going to go out and do it on their own, or think they can do it on their own.
Yeah,
and then they fall.
Yeah,
or it's not all it's hyped up to be. So I'm sure you see like a lot of that. So how do you overcome, like, that's probably what I try to, like, I go up against. How do you overcome? And I think recently you've been doing career fairs. Is that like, how do you find these artists to come under you versus, you know, just becoming their own, you know, person? What's your game plan on that?
So a lot of the time they reach out to me. So that's kind of how I find artists under me. Reputation, word of mouth. So pretty much, I haven't really totally like searched for lash artists. We have been doing the career fairs recently, and those have been working really well. I got a lot of resumes. I got to meet a lot of students. So I think that's going to be kind of my next like route into finding and staffing my salon, because I still have about 3 to 4 stations that I could have more lash artists work out of. So we'll see. But as far as clientele and stuff, it's always been like word of mouth referral. I haven't even really ran a lot of ads. Like, I know it's like a State Farm, or we used to do like cold calls and stuff. So that was like grueling, but
nobody likes to
yeah. So I think this year is where I'm going to start looking at to actually putting in ads and see what I can get out of that for actual clientele. But as far as lash artists go, a lot of them come to me. So I've been lucky in that way.
I mean, look, we're walking billboards, right? I get so many compliments. I'm a mom of toddlers. I don't have time to do some crazy face makeup all day, you know, every morning. Like, that's just not going to happen. And so in my eyes, I was like, if my lashes are done, whether I have makeup on or not, I can still look semi-presentable. And I'm telling you, so many compliments. And I'm like, yep, Jasmine. I'm like, here it is. Go. Like, I think it's you. But what I love about you is you're not satisfied with, and I have so much respect for this, is there's so many good products out there for you to buy, right? And I've had several lash artists in the past, and they've all been great. Nothing negative, but sometimes it's like, I've had some that just take forever to do fills, and I just don't have that time. I'm running a business and I got kids. But they, like, a lot of times is I have to come on the dot by every 2 weeks. Otherwise they don't look good. You probably started with a product that, you know, I came in, you know, now. But when you first started, you probably were using products that you weren't satisfied with. So you went out, right? And you tell that story, like, you,
oh my gosh,
like, high expectations, but I'll pay for that. Like, that's high standards, and that's like, you get what you pay for, right? Like,
totally,
so important.
So at my salon, we do use our own branded lashes, ModLash Lashes. At first, lashing, I was using other companies. Don't want to say any names, but I went through so many companies because I didn't want to put on my clients what I wouldn't put on my eyes. My eyes are the same lashes that are on your eyes, you know? So that's what kind of prompted me to say, okay, let me find something that I like, that I can sell, that I can put on my clients, and I'll feel comfortable with. So I went through a lot of sampling, talked to so many vendors and suppliers. It's very expensive to do your own line. You're paying for samples and they suck. You're paying for and you're waiting 2 to 3 weeks to get them. You don't like them. They're horrible. It's just, it did take me a long time. I actually didn't find my set of lashes that I liked until it was COVID. We were shut down, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know what? I have time now. I can actually like try different things. I have nothing else to do. Let me find something that I like to work with. So I talked to so many vendors and suppliers, and I used Alibaba too. That's a website that a lot of companies will use. And I finally found the ones that I liked, and now those are the ModLash Lashes. And I'm proud to say that, you know, a lot of artists that use them, they're like, oh my gosh, they're so easy to fan. They're so soft. So, and they're comfortable on clients' eyes.
You have me in and out within I was going to say you, I don't know the technicalities. My eyes are closed. I don't know how you do it, but you have me in and out within an hour. And honestly, I can go up to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Now, if my children are grabbing my eyes and things out of your control, sometimes they're a little, a little bit janky coming in. I'm like, it's my kids' fault.
Right.
I have no problem blaming them.
That happens a lot. It does more than you think.
Or like seasonal allergies, and I'm like, I was crying a lot. Like, this is not. But honestly, like I mean, I live a pretty active lifestyle. I work out 3 to 4 times a week. I do the sauna, not every day, but usually about 3 times a week, I'll sit in the sauna for 20 minutes. I have never, like, every time I go, some people who have lashes, they're like, they look good. How long? And I'm like, I'm almost 3 weeks, and they're shocked. So it just speaks volumes for the quality. And some people just want to like churn and burn, and you're probably not making, we can get down to the nitty bitty of business. You probably don't make as much profit margin, but I respect, and I will go like till however long, because I respect that you care about the quality. And now a lot of people have gone away from that nowadays. So it's all about cheap. Important.
It's all about, convenient, cheap. And it's like, these are your eyes, so it's like, you got to take that into consideration too. Yeah. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, especially being in a prior insurance agent, me being an insurance agent, I'm like, oh my goodness, like so many things could go wrong. And this is not an easy industry to insure, because you can do, I mean, one little tiny wrong move and you can be out of business.
And so huge liability.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's awesome. Now, what I've always had like a soft spot for my beauty people, because like my nails and all that stuff. I'm the first to admit I am a high maintenance girl. I
really
have no problem.
I don't find you high maintenance
on certain things. Maybe that's why. Like, I gotta get my lashes and my nails done. Everything else, I'm like, I haven't been to. My hair lady probably thought I left her.
I know,
my hair artist, because I haven't called her, and then it's my fault because now she's like booked out 3 months. I'm like, not everybody. No. We're curly hair.
Curly hair is hard.
I'm like, I can't go to just anybody. And I was like, oh man, it's probably a long wait time now. I know. But my whole point is like, I love that you're building something bigger than just you, because and maybe this is just me, but I just knowing you, but I don't want to have to work, 80 hours a week. And my beauty people, I have even more soft spot for, because if you're not working, you're not making money. So how are you supposed to enjoy life and take vacations? No, I mean, you obviously would have to budget that, but I mean, don't you want more, or don't, and to some people they don't, and that's totally fine if this is just fun, but I know that's not your personality, and I know that's not what you want. So how do you, like, is that kind of what got you started on this, because you wanted the freedom? Like, what's your ultimate goal? Like, where do you want to get to?
Ultimate goal would be to eventually step away from the chair, because I've been doing it for 10 years. So
I mean, except for a couple.
Except for the VIP. No. I do want to get more into teaching, because I really enjoy watching students learn and get excited about it and proud of themselves. And I enjoy that whole, scenario. So I do want to get more into teaching. I am putting some of my products on Amazon. So I will go that route to like online. And I do want to franchise the business as well. So I've been looking kind of into that, not now, but in the future for sure.
Yep.
And open up multiple
locations. You have to start somewhere,
locations.
and you have to do research.
Yeah, for sure. So that's kind of what I'm looking as far as like what ModLash Studio will be. I want it to be a brand. I want it to be out there. I want it to be multiple salons, even apparel. Like,
you're thinking big.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Honestly, I'm like, the business owner in me, right? The business side of me. I walk into anywhere and I always just look at everything and take everything in. But I like your lash kits and the stuff that you sell in front, and even your apparel. I didn't even know, but that's smart because your logo is awesome. Like,
Thank
it's
you.
so cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
But like those lash kits were genius. I was like, this is another source of revenue
For sure
that you can do versus somebody coming in, and I'm sure I could find all of those things individually at some point over time, but I can literally walk in, buy it right here already in this cute, super cute kit with this cute bag, which by the way is the best travel thing for me.
I love it.
You just throw it all together. It's so cool. And so I'm like, this is awesome. I've never had I've had like maybe 4 or 5 lash people over the last 10 years, and I was like, she is genius. Like she is a visionary, big thinker. Like I was like, I like her vibe. Like I like where she's going with this. So I was like, she's doing some awesome things that I haven't seen before. So
thank
really
you.
Kudos to you on
because I just figured like, what do I want when I go in and get a set of lashes? You're like already investing in yourself, you know, you want to take care of your investment. So like everything that I need to take care of my investment, you need your fan, you need your wand, you need your brush, you need your shampoo, you know what I mean? Like just a lot of different things that you want to add in your kit to help you take care of your lashes and have them last long, and your natural lashes underneath. So
for sure. And I mean, you really are, you literally put yourself, it's what I do at my agency. I'm like, how from start to finish, the client experience, right? And that's exactly what you've done. You're like, okay, that's perfect. To me, like, I wish there was like before anybody can open a business. Like there's a class that you have to take.
Oh my gosh.
That gives you all these different aspects. Not everybody's going to have, the best expectation, but the ones that, to me, that succeed and that do really well, you're generating different revenue streams. So not just all, now you have the apparel, now you have the kits, then you have the people who are actually doing, so you have like multiple, like to me, that's just good business sense. And it's sometimes really hard to find that in today's world.
It is.
Because there is, you've said it, lots of saturation, right?
Yes, lots of saturation. But that's also one thing I want to do too. Like eventually I want to do like classes to help, women or up and coming artists, like the business side of it, because that's not taught in beauty school, so it's tough. Like they teach you sanitation and like they teach you the actual techniques, and then they're like, okay, figure it out. So you're out once you graduate beauty, and once you graduate beauty school, you're like, okay, how do I make money off of this, and make a living? So I think the business side is
probably. Probably people think, okay, I'm going to charge like $80, and what they're not realizing is you still have to calculate the hour or 3 or 2, whatever, however long it takes to do that. The products that you're, business 101 stuff that maybe you and I think is common sense.
Right.
But I've learned that common sense is
not so common.
There's so many little nuances, and I totally respect that. Like, that's so cool that you like want to teach that and go, my whole family are all teachers. So I feel like, I teach education about your insurance to my clients and give that option. But I still like chatting with my employees and training my employees and, taking my experiences and showing them like, this is why I do it versus, here's a book, figure it out.
Right.
So it's definitely probably something that is natural to you and me, which obviously you've shown it, and is so cool because that's really what sets you apart too,
Thank you.
Yeah. So then you have you have some changes that are happening, and you have to kind of like shift gears. Why don't you talk about that?
Yes. So I am now expecting my first child. So so there's a lot to think about now, not just me. So I am going to, probably set the salon up to where I can step away for a little bit because I'm doing April. So but now I'm starting to see, I need to figure out how to be a businesswoman and a mom. That's a whole different whole different ball game, and I'm a little nervous and about that, a little scared.
It's so nerve-wracking, and I'm going to tell you right now, after 2 years, it doesn't get easier, but you figure it out, and but it almost forces you though, right? Because I'm a control freak, and it was hard to know that I was going to be able to step away. In fact, my office manager was like, she's going to yell at me if I did get on my emails right after the babies were born or something. But it's going to force you now to really like turn on that business owner hat, to be like, okay, how do I shift gears? And one thing you haven't mentioned here, but I know you've been doing it, which is it's something that I always do, and I'm never going to stop, but you're constantly educating yourself. You're constantly finding coaches. You're constantly, you're constantly learning, and you're going to conferences, you're going to events, because you're always trying to better yourself. And I think that's going to help you make this transition, right?
I think that's so important. You always have to stay learning. You always have to be coachable, forever, for life. You're always learning. And I think that's what helps, to be successful. That's what sets the successful apart, So I always want to learn everything, financial, taxes, all that stuff is going to help, So for sure.
Give me the basics of the financials.
I know.
Tell me I'm doing okay, and let me go do my own thing.
I know. I think I'm right there with you. I hate numbers. Oh my gosh.
You got to hire the right people around you that you're not good at, and you got to figure out what you're good at.
I know.
And then you can, that's how we grow, right? We have to stay in our own lane. We have to, hire out on the other stuff. And but this, I think these next 6 months are going to be really a game changer for you, because I feel like even though, you probably nitpick and see all the things you've done wrong, or that you want to make changes
constantly.
But from my standpoint, and knowing you for the last, I don't know, it's been 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
I know you're making all these changes and whatnot, and you have a lot of some massive changes that have to, take place soon. But at the same time, you're doing a great job. You're doing all the right things. So even though you probably don't feel it, just from the outside looking in, you're doing a pretty good job.
Oh, that means so much to me. You're your hardest critic, right? You're your hardest critic. You're always thinking you're not doing good enough. And for me, it's just just do it. Just start. I feel like I have to be great. And it's you don't have to be great to start. You got to start to be great.
That's the perfectionist.
So it's just do it and just figure it out and take that step. So that's what I'm trying to battle with right now. Take the lead.
Do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's what I've learned.
And then this is gonna this shift when baby comes is gonna it's gonna force you, and it's gonna be all right, I literally just have to keep the faith that this isn't gonna crumble, and that life's gonna go on, and you have the right people around you, which I know you have some awesome people there. And you just have to make sure you're buckling down in the next few months, and then just know that when the baby comes, life is. I'm still learning it. I'm I just got to surround myself with awesome people, because life gets crazy.
I know.
Which I know you know it.
It's crazy now, so I'm I can get even crazier, but I'm ready for it. We're preparing for it, so it'll be okay.
It's so awesome.
Yeah.
And it's such a blessing, I was really scared at first, and I'm mine was even kind of more planned than yours, because mine's hey, we're implanting these embryos in a fertility treatment. Clearly, we know what the outcome can be. But it's still when I'm oh my gosh, it worked. Oh my gosh, it worked.
I know, right? Now what?
Crap. Now what? And you know what? That's at this point, I just tell people, I'm look, I have no idea what I'm doing. I just know I'm trying to keep 2 little humans alive. And keep myself alive. And keep my husband alive. I'm we got this. But you've done so well, and I just know that you're not going to have a clue what's going on, and I still don't. So I'm saying this from 2 years in now. I'm 2 years ahead of you from experience, that you're never going to have it figured out, but you just figure it out.
Yeah.
You just do it. You know, you do what you have to do, and you're a badass woman that's like, okay, I'm going to get shit done. I'm going to figure it out. It might not be pretty. It might not be, all rainbows and butterflies, but
I mean, that's what us women do. We're incredible. So we're super women.
That, you know what? And that's why I'm like, I just want this community, because I know I hired my life coach, business coach. She taught me the mind fundamentals that really helped me catapult. I had my financial coach. I had to do all of this, and I did it right when the babies were born, because I'm like, I'm struggling. So I just learned, and I knew, and I've always been humble enough in the sense of I will ask for help in certain areas. Otherwise I don't. I can just do it and I'll figure it out, which is probably not the best either. But I more so wanted, and this is why the podcast came to fruition, because I'm like, I need it. You really do need a village. You need your tribe to surround yourself, because you don't know what you don't know. Right?
That's so important.
And
so important.
You have to be willing to ask for help, and you have to be willing, you clearly are a genuine, awesome person. And so you have to be able to reach out and be like, this is what, I need this help. I need to do this. And I need to do that, and so, and if you need anything, I'm there for you.
You have already helped me so much.
So it's, you just have to surround yourself. And I know you do that already. And so that's what I
try.
But I think that's what makes you, you have no problem doing that, and just being around awesome people and creating that circle around you is what I've learned. You just have to do it. And that's what's going to make you, really push past this,
For
I'm
sure.
not going to call it an obstacle, because it's not. This
it can be.
Curve in the road.
No, I know.
For lack of better words.
Right. But I think that's so important to the circle around you, to really check who's around you. Having genuine people around you is the best. Having a village is great. I really take that into consideration, because I don't have family in Vegas. So for my family in Vegas. So for me, that's what we had in common too. So for me, having my first child, it's kind of been just eye-opening to me. Wow, I really, the small crowd that I do have around me, I really hold close to heart.
Yep, for sure.
So.
For sure. And I think that's what's going to make it successful. And I don't feel the success yet, but I'm every day.
I know. I can't wait till that point.
Wake up, and we get out the door.
Keep doing it. Just keep doing the same thing every day. You will get successful.
Day by day. Yep.
I know. I can't wait to wake up and say, wow, I'm successful.
Exactly. I know. I think we're always going to be because here's the problem. We're never going to do that, because we're always going to want more.
Yes.
We always want the next thing. And we just set our goals so high, but we still, we have to look back and reflect. And that's, my coaches that I have around me, they're I hope they're listening to this. So they know that I am retaining what they tell me, even though I know sometimes they don't, but it's you really do have to just stop and look back and go, wow, look at what I've done
so far.
I've done this.
I know.
I have people that have families that I'm paying that. This is cool. I really have made it, right? It's not what my ultimate goal is, and I still have, more aspirations, but look what you've done. Not everybody can go and rent a commercial space and open an entire studio. It's not for everybody. So.
Exactly. I don't think I do that enough, to look back and see, wow, how far I've come. Literally since I moved to Vegas, moved to Vegas with no job. And now, I have a salon. So I don't really look back and I need to do that more often, I think, and appreciate for sure. And I think that's important.
Even just when you drive up to your space and you see that logo and you're like, dang,
Yes.
This looks good.
Yeah.
I did this.
Right. Because you could be
I'm
so
a badass.
much.
We got to say our affirmations.
I know.
Yeah.
I know, exactly. Like, I feel like
true.
you're so caught up in the work and the business and the stresses that you can't really see above water and like, oh wow, like I'm actually here, you know? So yeah, it's important to think to look back and see that for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's been so fun. Just even like the last, our networking event brought us together and I'm like, oh, this is so cool. And we were at a retreat and had a fun and interesting,
very interesting
weekend.
Retreat. Yeah.
You know, and all of the girls that were there, I mean, we could have, it was a Airbnb nightmare. And
my God,
I have so much respect for all of us that were there because it could have, like, everybody's reaction could have been on a whole nother level. And I'm usually sometimes nicer, but I appreciated your little push, like, no. We're not going to stand for this.
I'm like,
if you don't make this change right now, we are gone.
Right. So get our money back.
I appreciated that. I was you're like, no.
Right.
This is unacceptable, and we're gonna make sure
that
Airbnb
was so creepy. I'm like, I kept saying, how can I stay here in my pajamas? I just don't see it.
No. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, okay, I can make this work if needed to.
Right. Yeah. But
I'm like, so I appreciated your leadership and push of, no, girls, we're moving.
We're getting out of here.
We're getting this handled. And I'm like, okay, got it. Okay, perfect.
I know. We made it work. We made the best out of the whole situation, but I feel like everything was going wrong on that little retreat.
It did. But you know what? At the end of the day, I reflected back and I was like, we had some damn good food.
We did.
It was really like, the weather was great.
Beautiful.
Even though there was some hurricane that they were talking about.
Right. The weather was perfect. We had good conversation. It was a nice experience. I really liked the weekend overall. And it was my first time in San Diego.
We learned. Oh, really? Was it really? Oh my gosh. What was that food place we have to go back? Into?
Which one? Was it the rooftop?
The brunch.
The brunch.
Why am I blanking on the name?
Oh my gosh.
It was like a 3-hour wait. So
I know. It was so good.
I'll put it in the show notes because
you have to go.
Literally probably the best food ever. And I'm totally mad that I'm blanking on the name of it. But I'll make sure that we drop a shout out to them because holy cow, I'm still dreaming about that food.
I know. I'm definitely going back when I go back. We're supposed to have our gender reveal in San Diego.
I'll make the wait.
Yeah.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Very cool.
So we'll see. We'll see.
Well, it's been so amazing having you. And I was like, I have to have her on because her story is amazing and your vision and your hard work and just amazing. It's exactly like who I like to surround myself with. And you've just been so awesome to get to know. And I am so excited for Axel and Izzy to have a little friend.
I know. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, absolutely. Bye.
Thanks for listening. I'm your host, Ashley Mastowski. Tune in next time for more inspiration and stories from women who've made an impact. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Special shout out to Little Dog Social Media for making all of this come together.